Hey everyone, this is your body code practitioner, Emmanuel Zavados, out here in, where am I? I'm in Utah. A lot of people some clients were telling me recently, where are you? Are you in Utah? Are you in Vegas? I'm in both. So for those of you who are following my journey here. Anyway, let's get started here. We're reading the emotion code. We are on page 31. And so here we go. Keep your mind clear. Make sure to keep your mind clear of other thoughts after making your statement. If your thoughts are wandering, it'll be difficult for your subconscious mind to determine exactly what it is you're after. What if, for example, you make a positive or true statement, but then immediately begin thinking about the argument you had with your spouse last night? You'll probably sway backward because the memory of that event is negative and your body will naturally want to move away from it. It is important to have patience with yourself when you are first learning this method. It may take a little longer than expected for your body to sway. Don't get discouraged if this happens, guys. So, for those, just on a side note, for those of you who don't know, Dr. Brad had a lot of issues with muscle testing. He was, from what I've known, he would use too much force with his fingers. Now I've seen him before when he worked with my dog. I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. He was using his fingers, and he wasn't even using the body code. I think he just was using trapped emotions, and he removed a shock from my Doberman. But it was so simple how he was doing it. Just really, obviously we're talking about the sway test, but I wanted to give you guys kind of a piece of advice: is that everything that's amazing in your life, it always took time. Even just the small things that you were like, wow, this is amazing. Riding a bike. It took time. So you want to give yourself enough time to develop your skill in muscle testing. Be patient. Just because you can't muscle test within 3 seconds or within 2 days doesn't mean you aren't meant to become an emotion code, body code practitioner. So I want to agree with this book where it says, be patient with yourself. It's going to take time. Are you going to get frustrated? Thousands of times. Are you going to want to give up 1,000 times? Did I want to give up? Thousands of times. It's normal. It's very, very normal. And anybody who, was good in life, they had to be very bad at first. Back to the book. Your body's response time will shorten significantly the more you practice. The most challenging aspect of this form of testing for some people is that it requires them to give up control for a few moments and allow their body to do what it wants to do. For some, giving up control is not easy. Nevertheless, this is a simple skill to learn, and it shouldn't take you very long to become proficient. The main thing is to stay focused on whatever statement or thought you've chosen. Just keep your mind calm and allow your subconscious to communicate with you through the mechanism of your physical body. If for any reason you're not physically able to perform this test, don't worry. There are several other options which I will outline for you in chapter 5. Do you have a trapped emotion? As soon as you think you have the hang of it, you are ready to put the sway test to use. Make the statement, I have a trapped emotion. Alternatively, you can phrase it as a question, do I have a trapped emotion? Your body will most likely sway forward, giving you an affirmative answer that you have at least one trapped emotion. If your body sways backward, don't assume that you are free of trapped emotions just yet. This may mean that your trapped emotions are buried a bit deeper. It may take a little bit more effort to uncover, but it's not a problem. I will discuss how to find and release this type of trapped emotion later on. What trapped emotions are made out of? Everything in the universe is made out of energy, whether that energy manifests in physical form or remains invisible to us. It is the particular arrangement of these energies and their specific rates of vibration that determine how they will appear to us. At the most basic level, everything that exists is made of the same stuff, energy. Not only are you made of energy, but other forms of energy are passing through your body at this very moment. Energy that we cannot see is all around us in the form of radio waves, X-rays, infrared thought waves, and emotions. We are like fish swimming in a sea of energy. Energy is the stuff from which all things are made. It is in all things and through all things, and it fills the inner spaces of the universe. We can feel energy when it is in the form of emotions, and if negative emotional energies become trapped within us, they may adversely affect us. Trapped emotions are made out of energy, just as energy makes up our bodies and everything else in existence. Where our emotions come from. Thousands of years ago, ancient physicians were astute observers of the human body. This is what I love. I want to make a little side note here. We're talking about thousands of years ago. And I wanted to let you guys know, some of you guys are going to come through, this is a side note here, some of you guys might get this term that's used to sort of speak in a derogative manner about our work. A typical one is like woo woo. Another typical word is like new agey, new age. What you want to let people know is you want to correct them on the spot and say, this isn't new age at all. Actually, this is old form of medicine. Actually, this is our first form of medicine. And now when big pharma came out and the way we deal with hospitals and doctors, that's kind of like, the most recent form, but then the old form is coming back again. Like Dr. Brad mentioned in a commercial, he talks about how the pendulum is swinging back to us. It was swinging, and it makes sense that we live in a society where, money is more important than people's health. To get rich off people's sickness is something that's very popular nowadays. And for example, I'll give you a little quick example. My mother went, her final days of her having pancreatic cancer, she went down to Peru and she was trying to do these clinical trials for this thing called immunotherapy. And they needed someone to do clinical trials. Obviously, they couldn't do it in America because it was not, approved by the FDA. But who's behind the FDA anyway? But anyway, the point is that she went to Peru to help these people, and they had a law there. They had a law that says that you can't work on someone unless they're stage 3 and beyond in form of cancer. What does that mean? Why would they do that? Because where would they go to if they have stage 3? They would go to a hospital, which would rank up the what? The medical bills. And doctors would get paid and nurses would get paid. And so they did it in a way where they would extinguish all your money, broke and in bad health. And then finally, okay, you're stage 3. Now you can use alternative methods. So by my mother's country where she came from, she understood the corruption way early on. But it really went against her when she was trying to do clinical trials to realize like, wow, I'm going to be working with patients who are on the street, have no money, and gave everything they could to big pharma or doctors and things like that. And then finally she could pick them up, which is basically they only had a few months to live. And the only reason why the success ratio for her method was very low is because everyone was already at stage 3. So sometimes the cancer would metastasize and go somewhere else, and that would, then the person would pass away. But maybe they did target the breast cancer, but it already moved. So it was too late. If they would have gotten her at stage 1 or stage 2, we would have had better results. But unfortunately, Peru is too greedy, and so they say, sorry, you can't work on them until stage 3. So just like, there's corruption everywhere. And people are making money off people's sicknesses, and that's the society we live in. And with this type of work, we can start focusing on wellness. And so, anyway, sorry I'm going off a tangent there, but I'm kind of upset that my mother had to go through that during the last years of her life. Anyway, so it says here, thousands of years ago, ancient physicians were astute observers of the human body. They found that people whose lives were dominated by a certain emotion would have corresponding physical ailments. For example, people whose lives were ruled by anger seemed to suffer from liver and gallbladder trouble. People who dealt with excess grief would often suffer from lung or colon trouble. Fearful people seem to have kidney and bladder problems. Eventually, a correlation was made between the emotions we experience and the various organs of the body. It was believed that the organs themselves actually produced the emotions that people felt. I never knew this. Side note, I thought all emotions came from our head, like our brain, but I guess they come from these organs. In other words, if you're feeling fear, your kidneys or bladder are creating that particular energy or vibration. If you are feeling grief, it is being produced by your lungs or your colon and so on. Of course, we know now that certain areas of the brain are activated when we feel certain emotions. We also know that there is a biochemical component to the emotions that we feel. In her book, Molecules of Emotion, Dr. Candace Pert clearly explains that this biochemical side of our nature. There is an energetic side to our nature as well, and there is an energetic component to our emotions that is only now beginning to be explored by modern science. After much experience gained from clinical practice, I am convinced that the organs in the body really do produce the emotions we experience. The ancient physicians were right. If you are feeling an emotion of anger, it's not coming entirely from your brain. The energy of the emotional vibration you are feeling is actually emanating from your liver or gallbladder. If you're feeling the emotion of betrayal, the emotion is emanating from your heart or your small intestines. Take a look at the emotion code chart on the facing page. So you'll have if you're reading the book, you'll be looking at a chart there on the other side. Notice that each row contains specific emotions produced by one of two organs. For example, row 1 lists the emotions produced by the heart or small intestines. Yes, strange as it may seem, these two organs produce the same emotional vibrations in the body. All other organs listed in the chart produce the emotions in their respective rows. For our purposes, it doesn't matter which organ a trapped emotion originally emanated from, as long as we can identify the emotion and release it. When I first got started, just a side note, when I first got started, I was being such a dork, I would tell people, hey, you have a trapped emotion, and it's from your, I would muscle test which organ it was from. This one's from the liver, just giving you a heads up. And I was like, why am I doing that? And I'm making it too complicated. So guys, don't make it so complicated, to say like, I need to tell you which organ it's from. Keep it simple, just emotion, release. Nobody really cares which organ it's coming from. It might be interesting to someone who maybe is dealing with kidney issues, and maybe they want to know, did this trapped emotion come from the kidneys? Perhaps. But for the most part, what they want is healing, and we need to just focus on that. And we would, spending too much time on things that doesn't matter, it's just not going to benefit the client. Anyway, back to the book. Strange as it may seem, these two organs produce, where are we? Okay. Remember that we used to think that the body and the mind were separate and distinct, but now the divine line has now blurred to the point where we don't know where the influence of one begins and the other ends. Your entire body is intelligent, not just your brain. Your organs are separate intelligences within your body that perform certain functions and produce specific emotions or feelings. People are usually surprised to learn that the various organs in our bodies produce the emotions that we feel. Yet there are correlations to this principle in life that are quite distinct, although they escape the attention of most physicians. Identifying exact vibrations. There are many different words to describe the various ways we feel, and this varies from language to language. For example, in English, we describe the various shades of anger in words such as rage, fury, irritation, aggravation, vexation, riled, annoyed, and irate. What is important to recognize is that we are looking for vibrations when we use the emotion code, and that the words we use describe our nuanced feelings become less important. If the exact emotion you experience are now looking for is not listed in this chart, your subconscious mind will direct you to the emotion that is closest to it. As a result, the chart of 60 emotions covers the entire range of emotions we experience and will be all you'll ever need to use the emotion code. For lists of definitions of each emotional vibration, see page 305. All right, guys, so hopefully you gained some insight on this. I'm excited to kind of keep being consistent with this. I know I left you guys hanging a little bit, but it's because life happens, and one day I'll share my story of all the things that are happening over here. But if you become a body code, I want to say this real quick. If you become a body code practitioner, prepare for things to happen in your life that may challenge you to help you grow. It's all for experience. So if you got a loan for your business, but then you got into debt, or if you have a new partner, but then this partner says you spend too much time doing the emotion code, or whatever's going on, there's reasons why you're going through it. You're growing through everything, every experience. You're growing, not declining, you're growing. As long as you're keeping a positive attitude, you're reading self-development, you're staying close to your creator, you're doing body code sessions on yourself, you will succeed. You will have, you will be able to end your life and say, I tried my best, I did everything I could. But now that you know this work, it's important for you to do work on yourself or have someone work on you. I have a couple clients that have decided to work on me. I have a couple of practitioners I specifically go to that work on me. I also work on myself. So you want to make sure you keep working on yourself on a daily, on at least a weekly basis. I try to do it once a week, consistently work on myself. I probably have worked on myself over 135 times. And so you want to keep working on yourself, making sure you become better than yesterday. You want to stay close to your creator, follow your mission. If you do that, follow your mission, using your gifts and talents, do body code sessions on you, make sure to feed yourself spiritually and whatever, I think you're going to be in a good place. So with that, love you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Make sure you share this video with someone that maybe might want to hear some commentary on this, on these pages. And then next time we will be on page 36 and on 36 to 40, like 41 or 42. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.